That Legler thing he always talks about, that fadeaway, it's just uncheckable. 7 feet tall. 37 for Durant. All right, 2-point game. Doncic gets away with a shove, kind of short-armed it, right? And then afterwards, you see Booker has something to say. Oh, he's asking for a charge? I can read that. Shut the what up? Now we're smiling and chatting and smiling and chatting. Okay. There's a lot of history here. Both men asked about the incident after the game.
Yeah, I was talking to the ref. He said something to me the first, I responded. You know, you guys say you don't want everybody to be friendly. There you go. We got some smoke. You know, I have no problem with Luka, on or off the court, but you know, when we're competing, we're competing.
No, he was talking to me. It's fine. It's just competitive game, man. It's all good. Just next time, don't wait till it's 3 seconds left to talk.
I mean, given what happened last year in the playoffs, you know, maybe wait to talk until the playoffs, but
It's all fun.
it is. It's all fun and games. Everyone's just enjoying ourselves. In their 3 games as teammates, Book and Durant averaging nearly 63 per, which is, I guess, what we would expect. The 4th most points by any duo in their first 3 games as teammates. The top 3 on the list, all friends with Wilt, Steve. Imagine that. Monty Williams on the impact KD is having with the new squad.
KD need to be the leader of the Suns.
Well, I don't want to put words in Charles's mouth, and I respect everything that Charles has done for the game of basketball, both as a player and as a media personality. And I appreciate him so much. Everything he says is from the heart, and I don't think Charles comes into anything with an agenda. I think Charles's definition of what a leader is, I would like a little more clarification on that. So if we're talking about the best player versus a leader in the traditional sense of someone who yells and screams or someone who rallies the troops and makes everybody accountable, KD's not going to be that guy. Best player on a championship team, he's already been that guy twice. And the revisionist history around that, look, I'm the world's biggest Steph Curry fan. Draymond said it himself. They're not beating those Cavs teams in 17 and 18 without KD. Those are Draymond's words, not mine, okay? KD was the best player. There's a reason he won 2 finals MVPs. So because he went to the 73-win team, because they eliminated him, you know, we've changed the standard for KD. He's now got to win it, you know, on his own or whatever. For him in Phoenix, I think the best example, and I was thinking about it this morning, the best example in the modern era, I look at that 2019 Toronto Raptors team. All Kawhi had to do was be the best player on that team. There was already a culture in place. They had great leadership in Kyle Lowry. They brought on Marc Gasol. They had a great coach in Nick Nurse. And if you look at this Phoenix team, there's a culture in place with this basketball team due to Monty Williams, due to Chris Paul, due to Devin Booker. There's already leadership in place. And KD, the leader, I want to be clear on this. There are different forms of leadership. And one form of leadership is how you go about your craft. KD's form of leadership by example, to me, is undisputed. Everyone I've ever talked to about Kevin, in the limited time I've been around him on a basketball court, the way he approaches basketball, that is the definition of leading by example. So to me, this is a perfect situation for him. And yes, he will be the best player. And if they win, he will be the best player on a championship team now for the 3rd time, just in a very different scenario than in 17 and 18 with the Golden State Warriors.
Retweet. Amen. I mean, I think you nailed it, JJ. And we had this conversation earlier with Greeny a bit. This idea of leader is for us. It's not for KD. Like, he's very content showing up and playing basketball. And you're right. I can remember last season when Jeremy Grant was with the Pistons, he talked about the opportunity to watch KD during the Olympic teams. And Jeff Van Gundy was on the call with us then too. And Jeremy didn't mention KD specifically, but Jeff immediately said when I recapped the story, oh, he's talking about KD. Because what you see in terms of his commitment to the game, his professionalism, his care for his craft, all of that is tremendous leadership. We have moved so far beyond like, oh, it was your team because you called the timeouts and you got in guys' faces. Like, I understand where Chuck is coming from. I truly do. But I think ultimately, when we have the conversations of the greats in our game, it will be about rings for so many of us. And if he finds the path that leads to the most success and the most happiness, then kudos to him. So I think that's our problem in terms of how we view him as far as leadership goes.
Yeah, and I want to add one thing from my perspective as a player that played 15 years.
Yeah.
And this is hopefully what I can bring sometimes to this show. I've been in a lot of locker rooms.
Mm-hmm.
The best player, more often than not, is not the leader of the team. I'll use Dwight Howard as an example. Dwight was a great teammate. We won a lot in Orlando. We got to the finals. We got to the conference finals. We had a great 5-year run. Rashard Lewis and Jameer Nelson were the leaders of those teams.
They have a game plan on me and him as scorers, and they try to execute it. But when we got guys that can knock shots down, guys that can play off the the catch and drive it and create plays for others as well, it just makes us more dynamic. So if you want to shrink the paint or double us in pick and roll, we just got to make the right play and trust our teammates, and they'll make the right play afterwards.
You and Devin were talking throughout the fourth quarter. Y'all talked the whole game, but I noticed it more so then. Was that just a matter of discussing what's going to happen on the next game?
We're talking through every play. I think that's the beauty of having a veteran team. Guys, try to figure out the solution right there on the spot. They don't wait too long. If we're struggling, we're trying to figure out why we're struggling in the moment and then move on and make some adjustments. And so we're always in nonstop communication. And that just makes the game even more fun, builds camaraderie as a team as well.
Kevin, what do you think of the atmosphere tonight here in Dallas? Did it kind of feel like a playoff game? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, since 2007 when I stepped into the league, I feel like every game in Dallas has been like this, playoff-like atmosphere. Their fans support their team through and through, and I don't ever remember it being a bad crowd here in Dallas. So it's always a fun game, especially the early game on Sunday. So they showed out tonight.
What was your emotions playing against Kyrie?
No emotions at all. It's another game. Like I told somebody earlier, I played most of my career. I played against Kyrie. So he was on my team for the last couple years, but majority of my career I played against him, so I know how I feel.
Yeah, it seemed just watching that there was no emotion, which kind of surprised some people, I think, because of your recent history.
Yeah, I just think that we both locked in on the floor. We want to go out there and be the best that we can be, and that sometimes you get distracted trying to hang out, talk, and catch up on old time with your friends. So both was locked in, and I'm glad we got the W.
Dirk's one of the people that are going to be leading the Hall of Fame class this year. Just thoughts about his career and maybe a couple of those other finalists on that list.
Who's the other finalists?
Wade, Pau Gasol, Coach Pop, Dirk, obviously, Becky Hammond, and a couple others.
Yeah, about three people on that list I done beat in the playoff series before. So, I mean, I'm getting old, I guess, right? But Dirk is Dallas. He set the standard for every player that walked in here. Statue out front, name on the street out front. He's the career you want to look at and try to, emulate if you're a player. I got so much respect for him, his work ethic and what he brought to the game. I'm still learning and taking stuff from him to this day. So congrats to Dirk for going in the Hall forever. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment along with the other finalists and the people that got inducted in, some great names that shifted the game forward and inspired us all. So congrats to them.
On the last play, on the shot that you hit, obviously, maybe you want a direct line, but they kind of forced you to kind of loop a little bit. Maybe just take people through that play.
Yeah, everybody plays me physical, so nobody's ever gonna retreat when they guard me. So you see a lot of other guys, they might get some space a little bit, and you want to take that drive. But I think a lot of teams just be physical with me, so sometimes I got to veer off, and instead of a straight line drive, it might be a banana cut or banana dribble is what we like to say, and you just either way, just get there, So I felt like I had a good handle on the ball, and I seen the lane, and once I had him on my hip, I felt like I was in good position and just stop on a dime. So glad I made it.
Kevin, there's a lot of things that you have to get used to whenever you join a new team. Obviously, you've had great success so far joining the Suns, and you talked about earlier how you and Devin Booker were talking how you were going to attack the fourth quarter. Can you talk about just the Phoenix Suns leadership with Coach Monty, Chris obviously being a leader, yourself, Devin Booker, how that's going so far?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, like I said, it's always communication in the locker room. We're talking through everything we need to talk through. regardless of who's in the game. I think even the guys that don't play a lot of minutes, they letting us know what they see from the sideline as well. So I think leadership is about a group effort. Like, we're not gonna just look at one guy to have all the answers. I think we can all figure it out as a collective and move from there. And like I said, veteran teams that been through a lot, that's seen some stuff in this league. It's good to have those voices talking in the locker room. So it's only gonna make us better. I'm looking forward to keep building with this team. It's been fun so far. Yeah. That's I'm glad I was able to get a couple on the road to get my feet wet, because I know it's gonna be loud in there Wednesday, I think. So looking forward to our fans. I know they can't wait to see us out on the floor, and I'm looking forward to getting back home for a couple days.
Thanks, Kevin.